Come a little closer, my dear, not with your feet, just with your listening. You don't have to hold on to every word. You don't have to remember anything. Tonight is not for remembering. Tonight is for softening. Tonight, Grandma will stay in one room with you. We will not go out to the road. We will not walk down the street. We will remain inside the house where the air is calm and the light is gentle. And we will begin with something old and simple, something that has been here longer than most evenings. In the living room, there is an old rocking chair. It sits near the lamp, close enough to borrow warmth from the light, and far enough from everything else to feel quiet and private. It is not placed to show itself. It is placed because someone long ago found that this was the best spot to rest. The chair has stayed there ever since, as if it understands that a good place should not be disturbed. The wood is not shiny. It does not look new. It does not try to look like anything. It simply looks like wood that has been touched and used and kept. The arms of the chair are smooth where hands have rested. The seat is steady and familiar, not perfectly flat, not perfectly even, but shaped in a way that the body recognizes. The back of the chair holds a gentle curve, the kind that does not demand posture, the kind that allows shoulders to lower. If you ran your fingers along the chair, you would feel the grain, not sharp, not rough, just present. Old wood does not pretend to be young. It stays exactly what it is, and that honesty is part of why it feels safe. At night, when the house grows quieter, the chair feels more awake than it does during the day. Not awake like a person, not awake like something that wants attention. Awake like a familiar object that finally has permission to do what it was meant to do. In the daytime, the chair is only a chair. At night, it becomes a place where the evening can settle. The lamp beside it gives off a warm, low light. It does not flood the room. It does not chase away the shadows. It keeps its glow close, leaving the corners dim and soft. The walls do not shine. The floor does not reflect. Everything in the room seems to agree that brightness is not needed here. The air is quiet, but it is not empty. It is filled with small stillness. It is the kind of quiet that does not feel lonely. It feels held. Grandma moves toward the chair slowly, without hurry, the way you move when you are not trying to arrive quickly. There is no rush in this room. The chair will not go anywhere. The night will not disappear. The house does not count minutes. It simply holds them. When Grandma sits, the chair receives her weight without surprise. It does not shift harshly. It does not complain. It does not ask her to sit differently. It accepts her the way a familiar place accepts someone who has returned. And then, my dear, the chair makes its sound. It is a small sound, not loud enough to disturb a room, not sharp enough to wake the mind. A soft wooden murmur that rises when the chair moves forward and softens when it returns, forward and back, forward and back. The sound is never exactly the same. One night it is a little softer, another night it is a little clearer, but it always belongs to the same family of sounds, the same quiet language of wood and time. It is the voice of a chair that has rocked through many evenings and knows how to do it gently. Some sounds during the day mean you must do something. A ringing means answer. A knocking means open. A sudden noise means react. But the rocking chair's sound does not ask for anything. It does not require response. It does not demand attention. It simply continues. The room allows it. The lamp allows it. The house allows it. Grandma rests her hands on the arms of the chair. Her fingers are not tight. Her shoulders are not raised. Her jaw is not holding itself firm. The chair does not teach the body anything new. It only reminds the body of what it already knows, how to let go of effort, little by little, without being forced. Outside the window, the lake is dark beside the town, calm and still. But tonight we do not need to look outside. Tonight the chair is enough. The chair and the lamp and the quiet air make a small world inside the house, a world where nothing has to be solved. As Grandma rocks, the chair's sound returns again and again, gentle and familiar, like a small wave that always comes back to the same shore. The movement does not travel. It does not seek distance. It stays within a calm arc, returning to the same center each time. There is something comforting about returning to the same center. The body notices this, even if the mind does not. The body likes simple patterns. It likes rhythms that do not surprise. It likes motions that do not change suddenly. And so, as the chair rocks, the body begins to match it. Breathing becomes slower without instruction. The inhale arrives quietly. The exhale leaves without force. If a thought comes, it comes softly. If a thought leaves, it leaves softly. Nothing in the room insists on holding it. The chair's sound gathers the evening in a quiet way, not by pulling it in, not by trapping it, but by giving it a place to rest. Each gentle creak is like a small marker that says, here is safety, here is steadiness, here is something that continues without asking anything from you. Grandma rocks again, and the sound returns. Then it returns again, then again. The lamp remains warm and steady. The shadows remain soft. The house remains calm. And the chair, with its old wooden voice, keeps offering the same simple thing. Movement that does not lead anywhere. Sound that does not demand anything. And a steady return to the center that makes it easier and easier to soften. In the next part of our story, my dear, we will listen more closely, not with effort, not with focus, but with the kind of listening that happens when you no longer need to do anything else. We will notice how the sound changes the room, how it changes time, how it changes the way the mind holds itself. We will stay with the same chair, in the same place, and let the night deepen without moving anywhere at all. For now, it is enough that the chair is here. It is enough that the sound returns. It is enough that nothing else is required. The rocking chair continues in the same small arc, forward and back. It has not moved from its place in the corner of the living room. The lamp is still beside it, holding its quiet circle of warm light. The shadows have not shifted. The house has not changed. Only something softer has begun to happen inside the room. When a sound repeats gently enough, the room begins to accept it as part of itself. The tiny wooden murmur is no longer something separate from the air. It does not stand apart. It rests within the stillness, rising and fading without disturbing anything. Grandma does not try to control the rhythm. The chair does not demand direction. The movement happens between them, not forced, not deliberate. The feet press lightly against the floor, then release. The body leans forward just enough, then settles back, forward and back. Each time the chair moves, the sound changes slightly. It is never exactly the same. Some nights it is softer. Some nights it carries a little more clearly. Tonight it feels low and warm, like a quiet word spoken close to your ear. The room begins to feel smaller in a comforting way, not cramped, not tight, but gathered. The chair's motion seems to pull the edges of the evening closer. The far wall feels less distant. The ceiling feels lower, though it has not moved. The space is simply more intimate. Outside the window, the lake remains dark and steady. It does not shine. It does not ripple with urgency. Its calmness mirrors the steady arc of the chair. Neither one hurries. Neither one interrupts. Grandma's breathing begins to follow the rocking. It lengthens. It smooths. The inhale arrives as the chair leans forward. The exhale leaves as it returns. There is no effort in this pattern. The body recognizes it without being told. The hands resting on the arms of the chair grow heavier, not tense, not stiff, just comfortably weighted. The fingers no longer hold themselves tight. They simply rest. The sound of the chair has a kind of patience in it. It does not rush towards silence. It does not hurry towards stillness. It understands that night does not need to arrive all at once. Night deepens slowly, the way water darkens gradually when the sun lowers. The lamp continues to glow with the same gentle warmth. It does not flicker. It does not brighten. Its steadiness adds to the sense that nothing unexpected will happen here. In the daytime, sounds often mean change. They signal movement, conversation, decision. But this sound means continuity. It means that the chair is still here, that the room is still calm, that the night is still unfolding gently, forward and back. The arc grows slightly smaller. The sound softens slightly. Grandma does not notice the change in any sharp way. The change happens naturally, like a slow tide, lowering without announcement. The body begins to sink more fully into the chair. The back rests more completely against the wood. The shoulders lower a little more. If a thought appears, it does not stay long. The sound of the rocking chair does not push it away. It simply does not give it much space to grow. The thought rises, then fades, as the chair continues its quiet motion. The house seems to breathe with the chair. The walls hold their place. The floor supports without sound. Even the air feels thicker, softer, as though it has decided to settle too. Grandma's eyes do not need to focus on anything. The edges of the room blur slightly in the low light. Objects lose their sharpness. The lamp's glow becomes a steady presence rather than a detail to observe, forward and back. The movement now feels less like something happening and more like something continuing. The chair is not creating new moments. It is repeating the same gentle moment again and again, each time returning to the center. There is comfort in returning to the center. The body begins to trust that return. It begins to release the small efforts it holds throughout the day, the slight tightening of the jaw, the faint lifting of the shoulders, the quiet readiness in the hands. The rocking chair asks for none of that. It only offers the same soft motion and the same low wooden voice. Grandma's breathing deepens again. The inhale stretches slightly longer. The exhale lingers just a little. There is no counting, no guiding. The rhythm shapes itself. The room remains unchanged, and yet it feels different now. It feels slower. The air feels heavier in the comforting way that blankets feel heavy. The light feels warmer. The rocking continues, forward and back. The sound does not grow louder. It does not grow clearer. It simply continues, steady and faithful, like a small promise that does not need to be spoken aloud. And as it continues, the evening gathers itself more fully around the chair, around the lamp, around the quiet body resting in its place. In the next part of our story, we will remain right here. The chair will not move from the corner. The lamp will not change. But something inside the room will grow even softer. The sound will no longer feel like something you hear. It will feel like something you sink into. For now, the chair keeps rocking, forward and back, and nothing else is required. The rocking chair continues in its small, familiar arc, forward and back, forward and back. But now the sound feels different, not louder, not softer, just closer. It is no longer something happening in the room. It feels like something the room is made of. The tiny wooden murmur rises gently, then settles again, as if it has always belonged to the air. Grandma does not move differently. She does not try to deepen the motion. The chair simply responds to her weight the way it always has. The runners brush softly against the floor, and the old wood speaks in its low, patient tone. The lamp remains steady beside the chair. Its warm light rests across the arm of the rocker and spills faintly onto the floorboards. The corners of the room remain dim and undisturbed. Nothing sharpens, nothing brightens. The house does not shift. Outside, the lake remains dark and calm, though it is no longer something to picture clearly. It is simply part of the night, just as the chair is part of the room, forward and back. The arc grows smaller again. The body has settled deeper into the chair now. The back rests fully against the wood. The shoulders are no longer holding themselves up. The hands rest loosely on the arms, fingers curved naturally, without tension. Breathing has slowed further. The inhale arrives without effort. The exhale leaves without sound. It begins to feel as though the rocking chair and the breath are following one another. When the chair leans forward, the chest rises slightly. When the chair returns, the breath softens out. There is no need to notice this. It happens on its own. The tiny sound of the wood no longer calls for attention. It does not need to be listened to carefully. It has become part of the quiet background of the room, like the faint hum of distant night air. Thoughts come less clearly now. They do not form into long sentences. They appear briefly, like shapes seen in low light, and then they dissolve before they become anything that requires holding. The chair does not argue with them. It does not chase them away. It simply continues, forward and back. The rhythm does not change. The room does not change. The night does not change. But something inside the room has grown softer. Time feels less measured here. There is no clock that needs to be checked, no moment that needs to be marked. The rocking chair does not count. It repeats gently without keeping track. The lamp's glow looks warmer now, though it has not altered. The eyes no longer search the room for detail. They rest, edges blur, surfaces soften. The chair sound blends so fully into the air that it feels almost like silence with texture, a quiet that moves, but barely. Grandma's body feels heavier in the kindest way, not weighed down, not tired in a sharp way, just comfortably settled, as if the chair has taken over the small work of holding her upright. The arc grows smaller again, forward, back. The sound is faint now, not disappearing, just gentle enough that it no longer feels separate from stillness. The house remains steady. The lamp remains warm. The night remains patient. In the next part, we will not leave this room. The chair will not move from its place, but the motion will grow even smaller until the difference between rocking and resting becomes difficult to notice at all. For now, the chair continues, forward and back. The rocking chair still moves, but it is no longer clear how much. The arc has grown so small that the motion feels less like rocking and more like settling. The runners brush the floor only faintly now. The tiny wooden sound rises softly, then fades almost before it is heard. Forward, back. The room has not changed. The lamp still glows beside the chair. The corners remain dim. The lake remains dark beyond the window. Nothing outside has shifted. Inside, however, everything has softened. Grandma's breathing is slow and even. The inhale arrives gently. The exhale leaves without effort. There is no pause between them that feels sharp or deliberate. The breath continues the way the night continues, steady and quiet. The hands resting on the arms of the chair are still now. The fingers do not adjust. The shoulders do not lift. The jaw has released its small daytime tensions. The chair moves only as much as gravity allows. Forward, back. The sound is barely there. It does not need to be heard clearly. It does not need to announce itself. It remains as a low presence, woven into the quiet. The lamp's glow feels softer still. The room's edges seem farther away. The walls no longer feel like boundaries. The space around the chair feels open and calm. Thoughts no longer gather. If one begins to form, it fades before it becomes a sentence. The mind is no longer arranging anything. It is no longer holding anything in place. The rocking is almost indistinguishable from stillness now. Forward, back, or perhaps only back, or perhaps only still. The chair remains in its place. The lamp remains in its place. The house remains steady around them. Nothing concludes. Nothing resolves. The rocking chair does not need to stop for the night to continue. It simply moves less and less until movement and rest feel the same. The tiny wooden sound lingers faintly in the air, then blends completely into the quiet. The lamp glows. The house rests. The lake remains dark beyond the glass, and the old rocking chair in its corner of the room holds the night gently without needing to do anything more at all.